One thing I have to ask is, did you get the sense that, because you said you heard everything, did you ever get the sense that not that in a bad way, but just because he came from a family that was of that life, Tia
Right.
and Tamera,
Right.
that they may have impacted the way he processed all of the business dealings, or the parents?
Sure, it's hard not to listen and have ears, so I'm sure that they had something to do with it. Tia and Tamera on set fairly enough, I don't know, it just feels like there could have been more with that show, like crossovers and bringing other people on and stuff like that. We had some fun, and Destiny's Child and all, we had a lot of good action, and we knew we were a hit show, and we could feel it in the streets, and we went out and so forth and so on. But for him particularly, yeah, I mean, I don't like to speak on, just take guesses. I can give you my opinion. In my opinion, sure, why wouldn't they? I don't believe it was the best strategy just because the show got canceled. So, and who knows? Maybe the ratings dipped and then they just made a decision. But that couldn't have helped, So if you were in the business and you thought that was a good move, maybe not.
Why do you think there wasn't as much crossover? Because a crossover was a way of establishing a show and even taking it higher back then.
Yeah, I mean,
and they were
hard to
related.
guess. Because whenever you want to creep in and say because it was black or because, if you want to do that, it's kind of interesting because there were more black sitcoms then than there are now. You know what I mean? So it's not like that was a thing or that was a reason. It just didn't happen. And I don't know. If anything, I would blame the newness of the WB network more than anything. That was their choices to make or not make or have happen or not happen. Now, prior to that, I was on Hang with Mr. Cooper. That was on ABC. We did all type of crossovers and guests and people that were on there and so forth and so on. They did, all the bells and whistles. We were on TGI Friday and all that, So, but even if I think about it, though, there weren't many crossovers. We were right next door to Family Matters, too. We was good friends with everybody over there. I was like, where's the crossover episode? But yeah, no, you're right. It could have been more. And Sister, that was on WB too?
Yeah,
it was, right? Yeah. Some people even said that and they stopped me. Like, you on Sister? I'm like, no, I was with their brother, though.
yeah. I got to ask, because why hasn't there, you've said this in other interviews, but why hasn't there been a reboot? It seems like everybody's ready to go. And I've seen other shows, they just do podcasts. They don't even do a reboot. And them audiences be loud. Like, if y'all did a podcast together, it'd probably go crazy.
There has been many discussions. I won't say many, but a couple. The why, I don't have an answer for. There's nothing like, oh, because we don't get along, or there's no like, oh, we didn't. Like, I saw a script that Tahj wrote called Smart Girl. And it was like where are they now? And he has a daughter, and Marcus and Mo are starting a business and whatever the case was. And I don't remember all the details of it. I mean, it wasn't bad. I was like, not bad. If they were to pick this up, I'm sure they'd add a little to it and, so forth and so on. My thing was the writing was just really good. And I've heard only people in the industry knock it, like I did another show right after that called Zoe, and they turned it into, my character's name was Doug. So they turned the name of the show into every character. So it went from Zoe to Zoe, Duncan, Jack, and Jane, and Doug, or something craziness. And it was decent. But I remember the writers going, well, our writing is better than Smart Guy. And I remember going, really? And they went one season. Well, 2 seasons, because they had me to the second season. But so you never know. But I think the writing was really so good because I built my career off of improv, really. I didn't know it until later. Like when they say, oh, do you do improv? And I go, yeah, sure, give me a topic. But people that really do improv, really do improv. But anyway, I would take one line and make it funnier than it was supposed to be. My line might be a setup line. And my setup line, which sets up the joke, is as funny as the joke. So now there's 2 laughs, that type of thing. Hanging with Mr. Cooper, they would just, I was just like the funny kid, or not really, just the cool kid in the class. And I turned him into the funny kid in the class. Irvin Rodman became a thing. Then it was me and Mark and a lot of good scenes and, memorable moments. But that's stuff that I had to kind of fight and improvise and show people this is blah, blah, blah. With Smart Guy, nothing. I didn't have to do a thing to Mo. Now, a lot of that's because Danny Kalis was the executive producer or one of the executive producers on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And then when they went a different direction and brought in new executive producers for Hanging with Mr. Cooper, he went on and started Smart Guy. And he wrote that character with me in mind because he called me direct and said, "Yeah, I got this character, Mo. You're going to love him. Here's the script. See you on set." And every single script I'm talking, I would always have a pencil in one hand and be like, all right, let's see what I got to do, what I can add, what I can try at the table read, what I'm going to put in as alternate lines. I'm telling you, nothing. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. As far as writing goes and writing my style, that was the best fit of my career. And then beyond, like it had my timing, my facial expressions, everything, my type of humor. Did I say that out loud? All that type of stuff. And then it had even more, like the Idiot Savant stuff, where he all of a sudden knows how to salsa dance and he does backflips.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to take Yvette Essence, and we learned salsa dancing, and I learned to flip her in the air. Like there was no stunt people in that. Like it was. Really
I remember this, man.
Remember that
crazy.
episode? It was like, and then I love salsa. People say, "You know how to salsa?" I say, "Hell yeah, I know how to salsa dance. I know now." You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff you don't take with you when you just learn it for a show. But I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go more. But that was really an awesome show.
That's kind of wild. Because you kind of dropped a bomb on me. I know there was a Smart Girl script out there.
Yeah, it's what he wrote, and he was pitching it. We read it, so he got the cast to sign off.